What if the secret to facing life's biggest fear, death, was hidden in the Buddha's final hours? That's a big question, isn't it? Death. It's something we all think about, maybe even worry about. It feels distant at times, but other days it's right there, staring us in the face. For many, it's not just about the fear of dying itself, but the unknown that follows. Now imagine this, someone who faced death with total peace, not resistance, not fear, but acceptance. That's exactly what the Buddha did. Over 2,500 years ago, during his final moments, he left behind a legacy of wisdom that's as relevant today as it was then. And that's what this video is about. Together, we're going to dive deep into the Buddha's final hours, not just to understand what happened historically, but to uncover the lessons hidden in those moments. Lessons that, if we embrace, can bring clarity and comfort when life feels overwhelming or uncertain. So stay with me, because by the end of this journey, you might just see life and death in a whole new light. To truly understand the power of the Buddha's final moments, let's rewind and explore who he was and the life he led. Born as Siddhartha Gautama into a royal family in ancient India, his early life was surrounded by luxury. But despite having everything, he felt something was missing, a deeper truth about life and suffering. Driven by this inner longing, he left behind his palace, his family, and everything familiar to seek enlightenment. After years of extreme asceticism and profound meditation, he discovered the middle way, a path of balance, and attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. From that moment, he became the Buddha, dedicating his life to teaching others how to free themselves from suffering. Now, fast forward decades later, the Buddha, at the age of 80, knew his time was coming. He continued to travel, teach, and inspire, even as his body began to weaken. And then, during his final journey, something extraordinary happened. He was offered a meal, some say it was pork, others believe it was mushrooms, that turned out to be tainted. Here's the remarkable part. Instead of anger or blame, the Buddha accepted it with gratitude. He understood that impermanence, everything having a beginning and an end, was the natural way of life. His acceptance wasn't just a personal act. It was a living example of his teachings in practice. Think about that for a moment. Could you imagine embracing life's challenges, even the ones that lead to the end, with such peace? That's what made the Buddha's journey so profound. But here's the question: how do these historical events connect to us today? Let's move into the Buddha's last words and uncover the wisdom they hold for our own lives. As the Buddha's physical body weakened, his teachings only grew stronger. Surrounded by his disciples, he shared words that would echo through centuries. His final words were simple, yet profoundly powerful. All compounded things are subject to decay. Strive on with diligence. Let's unpack this. First, all compounded things are subject to decay. Here, the Buddha is reminding us of impermanence, that everything we see, touch, and experience is temporary. Whether it's our possessions, relationships, or even our own bodies, everything follows the same universal truth. It begins, changes, and eventually ends. Now, this might sound a little unsettling at first. After all, we tend to cling to the things we love, hoping they'll last forever. But think about it. Impermanence is what makes life beautiful. It's what gives meaning to the moments we treasure. A sunset wouldn't be breathtaking if it lasted forever. The same goes for our lives. The second part of his message, strive on with diligence, is equally profound. The Buddha didn't just want us to accept impermanence passively. Instead, he encouraged us to use this truth as motivation to live purposefully. Diligence means being fully present, making an effort to grow, and staying committed to the path we've chosen. So, what does this mean for us? It means that while we can't control the fact that things change, we can control how we respond. By striving with diligence, We honor the impermanence of life by living fully, loving deeply, and letting go gracefully. The Buddha's last words weren't just a farewell. They were a lesson in how to face life, death, and everything in between with clarity and peace. But how can we bring this wisdom into our daily lives? Let's explore that next. So how do we take these ancient teachings and apply them to our modern lives? The Buddha's wisdom isn't just a philosophy for monks or scholars. It's a practical guide for anyone navigating the ups and downs of life. Let's start with impermanence. Think about your own experiences, a job you once loved, a friendship that drifted apart, or even a difficult phase in life that eventually passed. These moments remind us that nothing stays the same. And while that can be tough to accept, it also brings hope, because it means pain and struggle are temporary too. One way to embrace impermanence is through mindfulness meditation. Here's how it works. Take a few minutes every day to sit quietly and observe your breath. As you breathe in and out, notice how each breath arises and fades away, just like everything in life. It's a simple practice, but over time, it helps you let go of clinging and appreciate the present moment for what it is, fleeting and precious. Another powerful tool is reflection. Set aside a moment each week to ask yourself, what in my life am I holding on to too tightly? Whether it's a past mistake, an expectation, or even an attachment to success, acknowledging it is the first step toward letting it go. But let's not stop there. The Buddha's advice to strive with diligence is a reminder to live with purpose. That might mean pursuing a goal, nurturing your relationships, or simply showing up for yourself each day with kindness and effort. Whatever path you choose, make it one that aligns with your values. To bring this to life, let me share a quick story. There's a woman I once read about who went through a major loss, the sudden passing of her partner. At first, the grief was overwhelming. But as she leaned into mindfulness and began reflecting on impermanence, she found a sense of peace. She realized that the love they shared, though brief, was profound because of its impermanence. She chose to honor that love by living fully in the present, embracing every moment as it came. It's stories like hers that remind us of the beauty in impermanence. Yes, life changes, and yes, it can be hard, but it's also what makes every moment meaningful. As we move forward, let's take a moment to reflect on these lessons. How can you begin embracing impermanence and striving with diligence in your own life? Let's explore some final reflections to tie it all together. As we come to the end of this journey, let's pause and reflect on the wisdom we've uncovered. The Buddha's final words, simple yet profound, are a timeless reminder that life is fleeting but incredibly meaningful. Think about the truth of impermanence. Everything we cherish, everything we fear, everything we experience, it all changes. And while that might seem daunting, it's also liberating. It means that nothing, not even our hardest moments, will last forever. In this constant cycle of change, there's a quiet beauty, a reminder to cherish what we have while we have it. And then there's the call to strive with diligence. This isn't just about hard work, it's about being present and intentional in how we live. It's about showing up for ourselves and others, no matter how small the action might seem. Every moment becomes an opportunity to grow, to connect, and to live authentically. So, let me ask you, how would your life change if you truly embraced these two ideas? What would happen if you stopped resisting change and started leaning into it? If you approached every day with a sense of purpose, knowing that it won't last forever? Here's my invitation to you. Take a moment today, just a quiet moment, to reflect. Maybe sit in silence, breathe deeply, and think about one area of your life where you can let go of resistance or embrace more intention. And if this video has inspired you, share it with someone who might need this wisdom too. The Buddha's journey doesn't end with his final words. It continues through us, in how we choose to live and the peace we bring to the world. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for walking this path with me. Together, let's keep striving with diligence. If this journey resonated with you, there's so much more to explore. The Buddha's teachings are a vast ocean of wisdom, and we've only touched the surface today. Check out our other videos on mindfulness, meditation, and finding peace in everyday life. Each one is designed to help you take another step on your personal journey. And before you go, I just want to say thank you for your time, your openness, and your willingness to explore these ideas. It's a gift to share this space with you. Let's keep learning, growing, and striving together. See you in the next video.